Hi, and thanks for clicking on my video and see this stream. Today I want to work some more on my glue book. I call it my inspiration board because it's just a big messy collage of everything that inspires me about this hobby that I got with drawing and sketching and using colors. But I think it's a good time to take a medical checkup on this journal construction because it is rather different than what I have tried before. I went to the supermarket and found a bargain, I'm telling you guys. 50 sheets for about $2, 15 Danish kroner of colored, rainbow colored paper, right? And I was just looking at it thinking, oh, it looks so beautiful with all those colored sheets. So I decided to use it as a journal, and what I did was that I took some tape and simply just put on this spine that's showing from the block like this, not even believing that it would hold up, but at least it will tell me where the page is, you know, like it will keep up until I found another plan. I don't know, I was just very impulsive and started to fill out, you know, the book, and every time I flipped the page I made sure that I either collaged a piece of paper to kind of give some sturdiness so it won't peel apart, or I simply just used regular, I think they call it invisible tape. It's just like office tape. And it's rather stupid having a journal like that where you work from one page to the bottom. Normally you would like jump around in your journal, work up from the back, work from the front, from the middle, so you avoid getting like a warped spine. But yeah, I did everything that you're not supposed to do with this journal. So let's take a medical checkup and see how is it actually holding up. Well, the first issue was that the spine was too narrow. So the original spine is still here. I simply just sliced it up with a craft knife and then inserted some packaging tape along with some washi tape to give me a wider spine. So it looks kind of weird, but at least when I close the book, the front cover is, you know, it's still too narrow, but I don't have a lip that goes like this, you know, like, so at least I can live with it. And then I am so amazed that the spine is actually not that warped. You have to think that I'm working from the first page to the back, and I'm 2/3 into the journal. So I actually don't have like a lot of pages left. I got like these pages left here. So I kind of predict that I'm getting away with it. I am really getting away with the way that I'm working in this journal without creating any issues for myself. But to kind of, because now I'm working in the like I said, I'm like 2/3 in, so when I flip up to the page that I'm working with, how can I say I flip up to a page that I'm working with like this, and then when it's lying down, it's still lying super flat. But to kind of help the spine, I'm putting 2 books underneath, but maybe I don't need that at all. But I want to talk about how flat these pages are lying. I am really impressed about how I have had like a super flat spread, and even when I go to the back of the pages, you know, the ones that I still need to work on, like let's go like way back, then I still have this flat surface. So I think I was just lucky. Yeah. But okay, this is my glue book journal, and I glue stuff in it and try and learn things. And I've been working about, yeah, I think a page spread a day since I last did an upload because I'm inspired. But I'm working on and off in it. because I don't want to use it as a pretty journal, you know, where I just do random spreads. I need it to be some sort of a tool book that inspires me and reminds me of stuff. So I need to be a little bit frugal with the last pages, because I still want to add in some page spreads that reminds me of different things, like marbling. I saw Devon Rex upload about carving stamps. You know, that I got like stuff like that. And also Kathy Arbor made a stream where she made her own stencils with a glue gun. So I want those elements also to be inside this book, because it's going to be, when I flip through it, I will be reminded about, oh, you know, stamp carving. I still got that on my want to play to-do list. So yeah, but okay, I've talked a lot about composition. I'm trying to learn it, so I did go ahead and work with some of the other compositions that I just randomly browsed on the internet, and I did this spread on my last stream or upload, and then the upside down page. It is so annoying. I don't know why I always got an upside down page in my journals, but the upside down page, there is this composition that's, you know, used for landscaping, and I call it the C section because it reminds me of just a C. So I wanted to work with it, and I kind of had a lot of scraps left over, because as you can see, I'm working with a paper pad in this journal, so it creates a ton of scraps. So I tried to work with the C section right here, and then put in scraps where I had a vantage point. So I tried to use perspective lines to make these squares here that's going to simulate some fields or something. You know, when you're in an aeroplane and look down at the planet, you get really surprised how geometric we have transformed this beautiful planet into. We have transformed it into cubes and squares, and so I try to have like a vantage point where I simply just place down the scrap and then use my ruler to rip it off so that it goes fast and it's easy and you don't really have to calculate a lot, I think. And then for this other C shape here, I tried to just use one piece of pattern paper, you could call it, to get that division. I can kind of see how when you're doing landscapes that you can get that, you know, things are disappearing into the horizon, and instead of having straight lines, I like that it's line work that's going like off the page, like out to the distance to open up the spread. So instead of going in dark with a narrow vantage point in the middle, I'm opening up the spread. So I can see how the C section helps you give that faux impression of a vast view, like infinity. So yeah, and then I made a woody guy with his own wings, and I really think he turned out super cute. I like working with this woody guy as illustration. It's actually these dolls here, and I don't know if you guys have some of these in your stash, and maybe you think like, oh, they're a little bit difficult to work with, they're hard to bend, but I have to just tell it if you're not aware of it. There is a right and a wrong way to position the joints. As you can see in the wood right here, there is a carved indent so that the back knee can bend up like this without needing any resistance, and then the front knee cannot, as you can see. So before you start playing with your doll, try and position all the parts in the way that they were meant to be, and then you will realize that it is actually fairly easy to manipulate all the parts. The same with the arm. There is an indent right down here in this wood that makes sure that you can do this bend up here, and there's none on the back of his elbow. So yeah. But I've been like really you know, moving and using these dolls, so I'm expecting at any time that the elastic inside the doll soon will snap or something. This one is giving me a little rough time. I feel that the elastic is, I don't know if I twist and turned it too much. It's like the elastic is giving me a hard time. He always end up in this really slanted, like, I don't care position. Yeah. But anyway, upside down page. It's not on purpose that I get these upside down pages. I kind of get annoyed when it happens, but in a way it's the charm of it, so that's how that is. Then I tried to work with that composition where you got like calm space up here, and then this different textured pattern paper next to your focal point. I got the idea from looking at an image from the original paper pad, where they took some book pages next to a block of pattern paper in the square that's going to be like the focal point, right? So I tried to work with that and do the same. So I just had some diagonal lines, and 1/3 into the page is exactly here where they're going to kiss. So this is like there are some thoughts behind this page spread, and it's supposed to be like a clean spread with lots of air to give this kind of romantic, easy feeling, and I can kind of see how it works, you know. I can kind of see how you need all that clean, airy space here to make it more fluffy and bright to look at. I tend to over embellish my pages, so I really need to work on having areas that's just left alone with just bright space. So, like to make this spread, I called it the homecoming because I wanted an excuse to use the suitcases. So I kind of pictures in my head, and I think, was it Brenda? I don't know, but there was one cute comment on my upload about, oh, it could be so cute if the wooden guy met the ballerina. So instead of doing like a page spread with their first date or their first kiss or something, I just wanted to assume that they are a couple and he's coming home. So, and the reason why is because I'm introducing the whole wooden family, and I think it's such a fun idea. So thanks for the input. So I decided to, why not go along with that idea that it's a family of wooden people. So I named him Woody. I named her Scarlet because Scarlet is the name of a red color, and my favorite color is red. And then they got 2 kids that I call Woodlings, and then they also got a cat named Little T. And Little T's name is because I'm watching another YouTuber and he got a cat. Now the cat unfortunately died, but his cat's name was Little T, and I was following his uploads about his cats and stuff, you know. So I was kind of like, you know when you watch other streamers' pets, you kind of follow along in their lives too. So you kind of get to know other people's pets and like them, you know. So I just wanted a Little T in my journal to remind me about the cute Little T. But this is the wooden family. I don't know what their last name is going to be, but I know that Kathy Arbor, she suggested that one of them could be called Woodrow. It's a little bit difficult for me to express, so I think that Woody comes out easier from my lips. So for now he's Woody. Here I'm working with a composition that I kind of screwed up earlier. You know, I made this train station where I wanted to work with a circular composition in the middle of the drawing, and then I goofed it up by putting some suitcases down. So I thought, why not try a second try on the circular composition? It's this one right here. They claim that you get like a golden section, that's the circle, by inserting a triangle in the middle inside your drawing, but the bottom of the triangle is not resting on the bottom of your substrate. It's raised a little bit from the ground. So you should actually get a circle where whatever you're doing within that circle would be enhanced. So I tried the same and I left in the circles with the pencil, because that's the only way that I will remember when I look at this spread later on, that, oh, I used the circular composition. And the more circles you can get into a circular composition, the better. So that's why when I did the train station, I got circle with the watch, I got circle with the curve up here. So I'm circle on these arches, this decoration. This is a circle behind the watch. So trying to work in circle shapes in a circle composition should, according to some, be like very, I don't know, harmonic to look at. So we got a circle shape here. We got the circle shapes here. We got some round circles from the paper rolls here. And then I needed to put in a clock that's round. I think it's too dark, so it jumps it right at your face. So I'm not kind of pleased with the clock. But I can kind of see that, yeah, how it would give more harmony to this spread if I had some sort of circular shape around the shadow. So I kind of try with the purple to create that circle, if you can see with the purple color here, but it didn't quite work, you know. Yeah, but the thoughts about this composition is really weird. First of all, I tried once more the L shape. You remember the L shape that you use in landscaping to ground things? Because it could help me on this one. When I do drawings, I always do them face front. Like this is a good example. This is like face front view into a room, right? So the ground floor is just taking a ruler, making a line going from edge to edge. That's the floor, and then you're looking inside the building. I want to do more drawings where I put myself or the viewer in the side of the room, watching more of the shapes of the room. So that's why I added in the L shape composition, to get that corner right here, to give the feeling that you're looking in a room but not face front. You're standing somewhat over here at this corner. And then I try to position the light source coming from this side here. And the reason why the window is placed right there is because it will give me an excuse to have some highlights on the top head here and on the foot. So I'm using like diagonal lines once more, and then the parallel reflection light would hit the kid right here, so that the things that I could enhance would be like the children and not so much the parents. So I really like that idea. And then I try to work with the way she is sitting. In circular compositions, if her leg is pointing out of the circle, she can kind of point where you want your eyes to look. In this case, this kid here is in focus. So let's say that I was like a real artist and I made this in like an oil painting, everything is in place to give full attention to this cute woodling right here, because you got light from the window hitting the woodling. You got mom's leg pointing toward the woodling. It's somewhat in the middle of the page. So in case like you needed to paint a family where you wanted full attention to the woodling, this would be a good composition to use. But that's the theory, right? Now comes my own point of view. I think I got too much dead space around here. So I think that if it was cropped like this, then it would work better for me. Not sure. And then I don't like, I need to somehow sketch in something that she will rest on. And then I also need to put some shadows down here. So they are like sitting on the ground. So this is not finished yet. Okay, then sketching. This page spread is to kind of remind me about what the letters in pencil stands for. Let me roll out my pencil stash. Oh god. Okay, this is what I'm talking about. You know, you get a pencil and then it says like 5H right here. Then you got some that's saying like HB. And then you got a 3B, and then you might think, well, what's the H, the B, the HB? So I made this scala right here where I visually can see that H stands for hardness of the lead, and the harder the lead are, the lighter the graphite will come out. And B stands for a darker and softer pencil. I can understand that H is the hardness and B must then be the blackness, and it sounds wrong when I say it, but that's the way I remember it. So I know for sure that the darkest pencil that they're talking about on the internet is a 14B, and the lightest pencil and the hardest is a 9H. I only got my hardest and lightest pencil is a 5H, so I don't have the last pencils, but I managed to find the 10B, 12B, 14B. And then I also have a little section up here with this special pen called a graffito pen, because this is actually the pen that I like to sketch with. So I don't so much use pencil when I do sketches, and if I use a pencil, I like the 2B pencil. B for black and 2 for how soft it is. And this is like not super soft, not super black, but it's not so hard that it leaves indent on the paper. So if I sketch wrong and want to erase, I can do that easily. So let's say that you're just looking for a sketching pen for your watercolors. You can already now tell that if you are one who are like pushing hard, stay away from the pencils that has the letter H in it, because then you would just have a tool that would make like an even deeper indent into your paper, so it would like be hard to erase if you regret. Swirl. I'm not filling out these before my upload because I want to do it together with you, because otherwise it would be a Peter for me having to explain. So let me clean the table and get the camera down so we can focus on this technique that I baptized swirl, but I don't know what it's called. It probably have like a really fancy name, but I remember it by calling it a swirl. Okay, the tools. The tools for this page spread will be a sketching pencil, and then a cotillion or a blending stump, and then I got this grapho pen that's got a lead made out of something that's not quite charcoal, but it's in the family of charcoal, so it's smudgeable. So any kind of charcoal stick that can kind of smudge, and a charcoal stick is one of these, but they're super messy, so unless you want to fixative them and set them with a spray, it's cool to use them, but I'm just gonna use something that's in between a charcoal and a pencil lead for this page spread here. So okay, the swirl. Sometimes it's difficult for me to when we're talking about foreshortening and perspective, it's difficult for me to place things, and one of the hardest thing is when let's say you got someone sitting with a foot like this. Like, can you see how the size of the foot is almost bigger than the size of the head, because the head is further away? So when you look at it and you think logical in your head, you're thinking the foot is too big because, hey, my foot is not like bigger than a normal head. So that's the kind of issue I have when I'm sketching, where one side of the brain, the rational side, is saying that that's too big, and then we got the other side of the brain that's good at visualizing things, thinking that no, it's spot on. So what I can do to let those two sides of my brains kind of meet in the middle and get satisfied is that I can use a swirling technique. Let's say that you know that the foot is right here. This is the foot. And then you want to draw a person sitting down with his torso here and the head over here. And the way to kind of figure out how far you can push back the torso and the leg, it's the leg that's also good in this technique, is that you can actually do swirls. You can start by circular motions, swirling in the leg, and then you can kind of, I always start with like small circular tornado shapes, and then I make them wider and wider to however I feel how fleshy that leg is going to be. And look how I'm swirling inside the size of the foot. Oh my god, I promised to bring down the camera and then I didn't. Oh man. Okay, this is as good as I get with this camera. Got the foot here. I swirl from where the leg would be attached to the heel of the foot, and then I just start swirling in until I get something where my visual brain tells me that, yeah, that could be actually the distance if he's sitting way back. And then I start swirling in the body. And then I start swirling in the head. First there is a neck. And then because you have swirled, you're having no boundaries. You're having like a free kind of floating sketch. You can make it wider and wider and wider. And let's say that his arms should do the same, like he's going to have a hand saying stop, you know, with a facing palm, you know, palm. And then you need to somehow attach this palm to the rest of his body, but you don't really know you know, how thick is the upper arm going to be. So it's very hard for you to go directly in with a sketch line and draw in the cone shape of the arm. That's where the swirl technique comes and helps you. You can just slowly start working in that motion, and then already now you can see I want to move this. I want the hand to be like more face, like here for instance. And then of course his hand, his palm is going to cover up most of his arm. So the swirling technique helps me to determine how short that arm actually is going to be in the drawing. And then it's pretty easy to come, if you're just working with graphite sketches, to come in and darken areas and build on this. So this don't have to be like a work sketch. It can actually be part of the real drawing that you are making. And especially if you are doing things in acrylic, you can totally cover up these graphite lines with acrylic. Here I'm playing with where to place the knee. I would say that the kneecap is right here next to his foot. And this is the hardest part for me when I'm doing foreshortening, is where to place elements like the kneecap, because one side of my brain is telling me that the kneecap should be further up his leg. But not when I'm doing the swirling, then I can really better see where things are placed. Yeah, I really hope it makes sense. Then there is another kind of sketching and doodling, and that's to do with just using one line. One unbroken line to do the whole drawing. I am not good at it. I am not really sure why it's a good practice, but the ground rule is that you don't lift your pencil at all, so you're making one line to do your whole sketch. There are a lot of watercolorists out there who use the one-line sketches for their watercolor drawings to get that kind of loose, sketchy look, because it looks more fresh, it looks more energetic in the watercolor drawings compared to if they like really was meticulous and put a lot of effort in their sketch lines. But I think it is so difficult. Okay, let me look at this woody guy right here and see if I can do a one-line sketch without lifting my pencil from looking at this figure right here. The reason why he's holding a Stabilo Woody is because his name is Woody. My issue is where to start, because as you can see, if I start here, I can get the head shape, and then I start getting the torso, but then I have to go back up here and get the arm, and then when I end it with his hand, how to jump down here, right, without having to go back. So it's always difficult for me to figure out where to stop and start. I think I will start right here at the end of his torso, because then I would work myself down to a point here again, and then can hopefully do one leg, and then end right there again. So it's very untraditional for me to start in the center of a figure in order to do the whole figure. But let me see if I can figure out how it works. Here I am not so concerned about, there are places I have to go back and forth. I'm just more focused in the fact that my pencil should stay on the paper during the whole exercise. And right here we got his head coming up here. Down to his shoulders. Look how I'm just carving through the head to get the shoulder. And already now I am out of proportion, I feel. I really am. So I'm going back up here. Now I'm ending here so I can hopefully continue with the rest of his body. By doing one leg at a time. I'm ending at the kneecap because the size of the paper is not too big enough. I feel that because I'm unfamiliar with this sketch. Look here, I got a thigh that's hidden behind the first thigh. So instead of drawing it in, I'm going to follow the shape of the thigh that's nearest to the viewer instead of drawing it in. I still haven't lifted my pencil, so I'm just following the lines back up because I am so, now I lifted it, I'm so way off with the torso. But I think that's why I dislike this technique. I think, I don't know, I'm more like a messy sketcher. Can you see how I easily and quicker with swirling motions can finish it off with better proportions? Yeah. Maybe it's just a matter of preference and routine. So, who knows? But the technique is out there. Okay, then there is the charcoal, and then there is the blending stump. The way to clean this blending stump, I have used it for some pastels, so I just use some sandpaper to wipe off the worst residue from the pastels. I never get it like white. I think you can, but I have never gotten them totally like white. I just take off the worst residue and then it's ready. With this pastel, you can actually, by using your fingers to smudge, it can help you put in shadows to get more dimension into your sketches. So in case that you feel that it's difficult to make them look dimensional, you can, here is the sketch of the head. Then use your fingers to smudge in the shadow, and now already you get like a rounded shape. And then here is a shoulder, that's a round circle, so smudge it a little bit. And now I'm using a finger. Let's say you don't like to use your fingers, but that's where the blending stump comes in. This is the upper arm, and then there is his the rest of his arm. You can take the blending stump and do the same. Not, you know, as fast. Sometimes the best tool is what you got at your fingertips, which is your fingers. So, but it's a messy way of sketching, but I love it for quick sketches because you can very rapidly, look how I'm just depositing the charcoal in a random pattern, and then I go in with my finger and fine tune where I want the shadows to be. But can you see how you very easily build up some sort of confidence in your sketching, because it looks so much full and fleshy compared to just a line work. It looks I won't say finished, but it looks more artistic. I don't know. It just made the joy for sketching better for me, more pleasing, because I like this result in a sketchbook much better than line work. So I can totally recommend, even though it's a little bit messy to work like that, I sketch and then use this middle finger to blend, so it's like back and forth, like a good good team to do something really fast. And then there's just something pleasing about filling in the shadows without having to think so much, because you're doing it on the go, if you can say. And let's say that you filled in too much, then you can take your eraser, and then if you got a kneaded eraser, you can shape them into a point where it's easier for you to lift off where you put too much graphite. So you still got a play in between the values of the shadow and the brightness. But yeah, that was my 2 cents about sketching. And I want this to be in this journal because, yeah, I pretty much love this way of sketching, and I have gone out of a lot of problems by using the swirl technique. And in the future, I think I should try and subtract what there is about this one-line sketch. Why does it make a watercolor drawing look so, I don't know, so fresh, so wonky, so quirky? But there is something to gain from that sketch technique. So yeah. Okay, I just want to flip back to this. I added in the suitcase and the shadows, so now you can see what I mean, that it kind of complete the composition a little bit better. Now she's got something to rest on. Okay, but let's flip to my next spread. All this talk about composition, I think what I'm taking with me is the fact that I think there is something valuable in my case to step back and give it an extra thought, you know. So this page spread that I made here is going to remind me about this crazy thing that is that when I'm sitting at my table, I got an idea, and it's like it's 80% of the idea, and then let's say I go in and take a nap. The second I'm lying relaxed on the couch or in my bed, I get bombarded with ideas and different perspectives, different ways of doing it. I get those extra 20% that are covered for me while I'm sitting in the progress at my table. So I think that, I don't know if it's something that every people can do, but I can, with closed eyes, imagine this figure, and with my eyes closed, I can imagine how he looks when I flip and turn him and move him. And what I'm gonna take with me from this practice with perspective is that I want to be able to break down elements in my page spread before I marry them to the paper. By imagining this circle right here like one element and being able in my head to move him. Can you see how his curved back actually could have gone all the way? I got this triangle sketch shape right here. He could have been moved right here, and then in my head trying to visualize what happens with the highlight if I move all this. Will it still be hitting the kid? Can I twerk the placement of the window, even making it taller? So if it was taller, the light could still be a highlight on his hand and his head. So I know it sounds strange, but there are so many places that you can place things in a drawing. Here I'm having examples where you just have a picture and 2 candles. So I made this page spread to remind me about, I have to, when I get the idea that, yes, let's see, I see a horse, like I see a tutorial on someone who can paint a horse, and everything is given to you. You can print out the reference photo, you can print out the line sketch, and you can watch the person where they're putting in the values to the light source that they have chosen, right? So you got like everything served, and you think, yes, I'm gonna paint that horse. Back in the days, I would follow Lindsay the Frugal Crafter's tutorials and always start in the middle of my page with her drawings. But now, after working with this composition as a theme, I will think more about, am I going to choose a page that's going to be a landscape or a portrait size? And if I'm going to choose the same light source as her, is there something that I could add to that horse as a background that would enhance the focal point to the horse more? Like could I place the horse in this area here so that the cutting line is landing in the face of the cute horse, you know, the cute face? Or should the horse be like placed differently? You know, it just made me ponder. So I think that I learned something about composition and how it can help you if I really got good at looking at a sketch as a lot of layered images and elements that can be pushed and moved around. Because working on this page spread was like really informative to me, because I moved the windows. Yeah, so there's a lot of babbling about this, but I'm really trying to change the way that I work. So yeah. Okay, now we're switching gears into something totally different. Now I'm using my journal to remind myself about the eco papers. Oh my god. Kathy Arbor is the one that last year introduced me to, she had a stream, and I'd never thought about that before, but she had a stream where she plucked out some plants in her garden, and then she swiped them with ink and pushed them through a Big Shot. And then she squeezes the plant that is coated with ink, and it makes a print on the paper. So I did my own lousy attempt on some of this, and I kind of grabbed severely juicy plants. So on purposely I put this piece of paper in it to tell myself that, hey, if I'm ever gonna try and do eco prints, avoid those juicy buds that's just gonna give that big blob. And yeah, so this spread right here is just eye candy for myself to recall that you can do stuff with the plants from your garden. It is so cool. And then there's also the eco jelly print, where you take plants and use with your jelly plate. Oh my god, it's so much fun. And also a little bit difficult for me, at least. I still have to struggle finding, when you put the plants down and you lift off the first layer, you need like really thin parchment look-alike paper to get into all the creases and spaces to get that fully shape of each leaf. So I think that, you know, I'm struggling a bit with what colors to use and how to really lift off so I don't get like strange spots like this. But really love this page spread. But of course, any gel printing process is such fun, so you end up with like 20 sheets after one sitting, and after that session you're putting the sheets to dry and then later on in a drawer and not really working with them because it's a little bit difficult. So right now my current spread that I'm working on in this journal is, I want to try and give myself an illustration of how to utilize those eco prints, whether it's like print with the big shot or the gel plate, how to utilize them in some sort of page spread. So that's what I'm working on right now. And I am using my yummy oil pastels from Senneliers for this one, because I got a little bit tired of I've been using colored pencil, acrylic, and ink tints in a lot of places in this journal, so now I just want to switch gear with the medium. So yeah, the rest of this stream I think I will just work on this spread. So far what I tried to do, the thoughts about this spread is to carry on the L shape because it's landscape, and to have that pushed back white space up here, and then just placement. I am 1/3 into the page here, 1/3 down. So I don't know if you can see that this woodling or wood person is deliberately 1/3 here, deliberately 1/3 here, and then the diagonal line is following the direction of the wing and the arm. That's why the arm is out there, to bring a composition where I'm going to have color and stuff happening below that diagonal line and below this diagonal line. And the way that I find the way to sketch while I am working on the page is that, imagine that I haven't sketched this guy right here. Then I would take my rulers and place them. So I move my rulers from edge to edge, and then I know, because I sketched this one, that the diagonal line is meeting right here. So then I just take my pen and then I start sketching the guy, and then I try to make his body follow that diagonal line. So that's how I work. And then because I got this line here, I also can see that the way that this person is sitting in the foliage has to be right there, not up here, not too much below, because there obviously are some sort of symmetry going on. It's going to be more harmonious when the page spread is over and done, that the sitting of the three elements is meeting in a V shape. Yeah, according to theory. But yeah, I know it must be a little bit tedious battling on with this composition, but this is the theme and the subject of this journal, so my streams are not gonna be like this from now on. I promise you guys. It's just a journal that kind of decides the theme, so yeah, bear over with me. Oh, good lord, I just checked what I recorded and realized that nobody can actually see what's going on here. So I'm just gonna take the graphite pen and draw it up, so at least you can see what the heck I was talking about with the swirling technique. This is the shape of the foot. I start inside the foot where the leg is attached to the heel, and then I start the swirling. And it's just soft back and forth. And then I can kind of, from that motion, see that the leg, the length of the leg is going to be pretty short, even though it's a long leg, because the way he's sitting, he's pushed back. Let's say that there is another foot here. Okay, let's make them the same height. Can you see how this foot is totally covering the view of the whole leg? So you only need the leg to be a hint up here at the toe. And then the body also is a swirling thing. where I just went up and down to kind of get the feeling of the torso. And what I talked about with the hand, this is the palm. The length of the arm is going to be pretty short, so here I'm starting inside the palm to try and swirl my way up to the shoulder, so it helps me with shaping that cone. Oh, good lord. It helps me get the cone shape of the arm to do the swirling. It takes a little bit before it has to grow on you. Okay, it's a technique that's you have to try it a couple of times before it kind of grows on you, but it had helped me a lot. So okay, let's get back. Okay, back to my page spread here. I have changed up the paper pad. I've been working with the Atelier des Artistes for the whole journal, but now where I'm doing the page spread for the eco prints that got a lot of orange tones in it, I just thought that the paper pad wasn't suitable because it had a different color hue and not so many warm and orange tones. It was more like pastel bright on the turquoise, blue and pink side. So I switched the paper pad, still working with Stump. Should I get the name of the paper pad? Okay, that will come later. Just a second. Here we go. The paper pad that I'm switching to now, and I think I will stick to that for the end of this journal, because otherwise it's super cool that you're using one paper pad throughout one journal if you want to make it like cohesive, but I think it's time to switch up to some other colors. So I grabbed the Time is an Illusion scrapbooking paper pad from Stamp, and it's filled with some romantic, grungy, floral illustrations, kind of like a junk journal vibe. You get that kind of vibe, you know. I'm not sure that I'm gonna use every paper in this paper sheet in a paper pack, but ooh, look at these for backgrounds. Yummy, a little bit rusty colors, kind of fall colors, autumnal colors. Yeah, so maybe time-wise it wasn't that bad of a choice, right? Yeah, I just want to quickly just flip through this paper pad. Delicious, delicious. Okay, I did a little bit setting for the camera. I look at my screen and I don't get that warm orange at all, but this is as good as it gets for now. So, you know what, I think I actually should, instead of just ending this and uploading it directly today, I should wait until tomorrow and then in daylight do some sort of a flip through of the pages that I showed, so you can see some of the colors in a more natural daylight. That would really be pretty. Here I'm thinking that the light is coming from above, you know, instead of coming from some sort of an angle, I want it to come from above. So what I'm doing is that I'm blocking in with oil pastel the first coat and then the second coat, because oil pastels can, when you let them sit for a bit, they can kind of not dry up, but they can settle. And I need them to settle to make the highlights and the warm tones, because yeah, I just like to work like that. So I'm going in with an ochre, a burnt sienna, and then an umber. And what I do is pretty fast, because as we all have discovered by now, this is not some sort of like pretty journal. I just need to give myself some examples. And I know that I'm feeling like really strict, you know, like this is and this is, but and I'm following all the guidelines like a freak, but it's because the nature of this journal is to try and make it as intended and then visualize how that would look. Of course, if I'm working on my own composition in a drawing that I really like, I would change things up, break the rules, you know, like for my fitting. But in this journal, I'm working a little bit strict, you know, like want to follow the examples as much as I can. Because I know it may look like it's easy for me to carry out these examples that I'm illustrating in this journal, but it honestly isn't. I really have to think and use my noodle. So it doesn't just come easy. For the dark value, I may use this I really would love to avoid black, so I'm just going in with a darker brown. Not sure why this woodling is having the arms stretched out. I could have her or he carrying some sort of a flower bud or something. But for the sake of the composition, it would be nice to have the arms stretched out, in especially this position, because it aligns up with the wings. So just blocking in, switching back and forth with my 4 colors, smudging with a finger, getting really dirty, getting my hands down on the page. It's been really fun for me to work in this journal. Also, like challenging. Oh man, I can't really speak today. It's been a challenge to start it up. I've been wanting to do it for quite a while, because I'm not good at having like a notebook. I can make the notebook, but I don't think that I would gain so much from written notes. There is a lot of people in the community, it's very popular to write things down, you know, but I just know that I'm not that kind of going back to read it kind of person. I am more a visual person. So I would rather see myself have a journal where I, with visual illustrations, is getting the point across, instead of writing a lot of pages in words. So this journal has been lingering in my mind for quite a while, that, oh my god, I need to somehow, I've learned so much from all you guys, everybody's streamers, and I learned so much on my little journey since I started a couple of years ago, and I just feel that I want to capture some of the things, the essence of what I like, and the essence of what sparks joy in this creative universe that I feel that I'm still just dipping my toe into. But because it still is so new to me and I've got so much to learn still, I'm procrastinating making this journal because I was thinking, oh, there's so much more out there to learn. So I wasn't quite ready, but now I feel that I'm ready to try and make these work journals. Do you need to? I don't know. If it's have a value to you for you to do it, totally do it. I know when I'm doing a flip through of mine, you might think like, oh my god, that's a lot of work. For what? What kind of purpose? So this is one of those journals that's for you and your own eyes only, almost. Now I'm cleaning up my fingers. When I work with oils, they often get contaminated because I smudge with my fingers. So I like to work on a gessoed surface, because then on my way I can just smear out the excess pastel from my finger onto the figure. So instead of using a ton of baby wipes, because baby wipes will moisten your fingers, not making them wet, but it is an oil stick, so having your fingers wet is not a good combination. I think it's I can feel if I have like wet baby wiped fingers trying to go in and smudge, that there is a slightly difference, though, like when I have moist fingers. So I would rather clean them off by scraping them to a gessoed surface in a place where I have to go in anyway with the pastel. Yeah, now I'm really like hurrying up here. Now I just want to get over with this. I think I need to come in actually with something dark down here, because I managed to totally eliminate any kind of division between the joints. Okay, I'm just gonna leave it. It's gonna be a little bit dark and pushed back. Now it should kind of sit for, I would say, 10 minutes, and then when you go and touch on it, you will feel that it's less sticky. Like, not that it dried up, but it just it's less sticky. Like it's set better. Okay, so right now where I'm in between the highlights and the warm tones, I would like to put in the background value, because I got good experience from when I'm putting in hair, for instance, in a portrait, and if I'm in doubt with the values of the skin tones, where to put the highlights and stuff, I like to put in the hair or the background just to get those dark colors in, so it makes it easier to see how aggressive you have to go in if the highlights needs to be white or this light yellow diluted with white, or a white diluted a little bit with a gray or something, or a little something else. So now I have to pick what to do to get some contrast. Okay. I really would love to be like dark down here in the forest area, and then work my way up with the dark tone so I can really carve out this area right here with the fairy wings, and we also got fairy wings here. I got no clue what to do with the wings on this sitting fairy here because it's leaning up against a stem of a flower. So I'm thinking, if I'm not saying that fairies are a bug, but would their wings be down when they're sitting and only folded out when they're flying? Or would it be like with butterflies where the wings are still out in formation but they're clapped together? I don't know. So what to choose? I think I would choose, even though it's gonna be a little bit tricksy for me to do it, I would choose to have open wings. And I, because of the position, would have to make them somehow transparent, and it will be so difficult to place yourself like this if you were a fairy in between stems, right? So let me just blur out where the wings could be somewhere like that. So I know to avoid that area right there. Maybe if I have this diagonal line, so could be really anal. We could actually have a wingtip that's ending right there. So you could blow up one of the tips of the wings to be somewhere up here. Yeah. So I know it seems like I'm pretty anal with this technique, but I just really would like to follow it a bit while working on these journal spreads to see what I can learn from it. Here we go. And this is going to be like super tedious. Oh my god, I shouldn't use my beloved Senneliers for this. I should grab another brand, because now I'm blocking in colors and I'm totally frugal with my supplies. So whenever I need to block in a relatively huge area, I got my second best oil pastels, which is the guitar oil and the Mungio pastels, because the Senneliers is like a soft and creamy pastel. So it's also a little bit expensive, maybe because it is so creamy. I don't know. I just like to switch up to a more inexpensive pastel when I have to block in huge areas. And also I got like uneven surface to work on because it's a collage, and all those different heights and levels of the pasted and glued in papers wear down your pastels quicker, because the soft pastel from Sennelier really would like grip into these peaks right here. So whenever you have like a very creamy medium and you want to be a little bit frugal with it, I can totally recommend to have like a backup similar medium to do stuff like this with. Yeah, I really love this green tone on this pattern paper. This is super nice to work with some different colors than the rest of the journal, just to switch it up a bit. And I just think it goes so quick when working with pattern paper as some sort of background texture, because you don't need to fill out a lot. And not that I want to rush through this process at all, but I just think it's easier than to start with a total blank sheet. So having pattern papers to just help you fill in some background texture is just awesome. I also feel that maybe if you guys are not doing the same drills that I'm doing with this journal, that these uploads might be inspirational for you to see how else you can utilize and incorporate all your pattern papers into your journal spreads. Maybe, I don't know. So let me know if you think that it's totally like not interesting to hear me babble about all these theories of techniques and stuff. If you would rather just have a regular stream from me where I'm not talking so much about all these components and elements that I am investigating at the moment, because I totally would get it if you say like, we would rather just have you to sit and paint and not be so talkative, because you can really get like bombarded in your head if you're watching this stream. Be like, sip it, Lena, shut up, and then just draw. Paint and draw, you know. So give me some feedback if you like these kind of uploads, or if I should return to, you know, just normal uploads where I just work on a drawing. I'm simply just smudging here and there to get a variety. That's a nice word to say. Switch up the tones. I got a lot of white here. Can you see that? Because the jelly print is kind of not done well enough. I wonder if I could go in with a different medium to really give this one tone and blast back the white. I wouldn't be interested in having white spots right there, because it's kind of, you know, annoying if I have to come back with highlights that I already got built in tiny speckles of white so far down in the forest bottom here. So now I'm picking a gelato. It's super creamy, almost as creamy as the Sennelier oil pastel. So I've never tried to mix those two mediums before, but the good thing about the gelato is that when I come in with a baby white, it will catch up all the white speckles that I have down here and put color in them. So it's just like super fast. Oh my god, I went over the white of the the wings. I can push it back. Now I just wiped it off. But as you can see, I can just put down a little bit of gelato, and then with the baby white kind of rub it in, so I cover up all the white specks from the jelly print paper that kind of I don't want right there. So yep. So I got like the mid-tone in now for the dark and maybe the lightest tone of this area down here. Let us see what we got. Got this very dirty, warm yellow. What about the gelatos? No, not so bright. Maybe I should raise my camera a bit so you also can see some of my supplies. That's always a little bit funny, right? I'm looking for this warm yellow. some yellow. Maybe this one here. Because I want to branch out from a yellow to the like really dark in the edges of this page. That could be nice. Maybe also some yellow over here. Here I'm trying to stay below that diagonal line. Okay, let me think. I don't know why, but I'm tempted to try and ink the edges first to make this faster, I guess. So I think I'll go to the Tim Holtz ink, the walnut stain, and see if I can just give myself a fast and dark start. Yeah, that was kind of easy. Now for some really dark. Let me try just for fun to really use the black and see how it looks. Yeah, it could be that. I'm just doing like random patterns and then smudging it out. Here I think I should stay below the leaves so I don't smudge out too much of the eco print. In a way, I think it's fun to make these eco prints, but it's kind of difficult to find that perfect occasion to slap in, crop it, and then make it a part of what you're creating, because they are so beautiful to look at. So I kind of feel that, oh, it becomes like precious pretty paper. And then there is also the trick when you're working with scrap paper or this, what you call like napkins or whatnot, still not overcoating it so that you still can see some of the original paper you laid down, because it will all in the end add up to some sort of I don't know. I just think it's a shame if you pushed it back so much with top layering that you totally lose what you put down in the first place. Okay, I'm a little bit hesitant with the dark colors, even though I kind of know that I need to go in with something dark down here. So let me try, while I'm procrastinating with the dark colors, to go in with some orange values to kind of see how dark I want to get this. Oh, wait, that was the wing area. Stay out of the wing area, Lena. I'm just trying to put it like sporadically from place to place. Just to shift gear, or what's it called, like just sporadically. Okay, now for the light source. What to do? I think I would start out with some really pale yellow and see how that looks. And with oil pastel, what you do is that you put it down and then you dilute it with the white. So if you think that it's too colorful, you can push it back. Let's say I want to push back this one. I simply just take a white, and then it's kind of nice to clean off your white before you use it, because it will pick up residue from your last use. So sometimes when you really need like a white place, there can be this totally off-colored residue on your pastel stick. So it's so annoying when that happens. But I can see that I would have to like go back and forth too much for this spread, because I'm not intentionally going to use a lot of energy on these spreads. So I think that I will skip over to a gelato and then just do it the easy way with a baby wipe, because yeah, that's why I freaking love working with these gelatos, because it's so easy sometimes when you just need a quick coat of something. And I definitely just want to just tint the white. I got white fairy wings, so I'm not that interested in having like a bright white light, because then my fairy wings will not pop. So I definitely need some sort of, you could call it negative painting on these areas where I got this fairy wing. It's gonna help me a lot. Yeah, that was one place. And also I like that aqua. There is this like a teal color in the pattern paper. It could be fun to bring out that teal in some of the places. Like, I don't know, let's start with this one here. I could maybe just keep it over on this side and then have a different tone here. And then for the mid-center here, it's tempting to just keep it bright and calm. So I got this very lime kiwi green here. So I can start building up some variety of the hues. Let's see, where else can we put the kiwi? Let's put back the fairy wings on this woodling here. To get that transparent look, I got from Sennelier these metallic oil pastels. Could be fun to get just a smidgen of the metallics in there. Not a lot, just a starter. And then we have these wings here. First I'm smudging, and then I go in with some more defying marks that I'm not going to smudge out. Such a lovely medium, these pastels. I wonder if I got like a pink shimmery. No. Oh, that's a shame. It would be so awesome to have like a pinkish tone into these fairy wings. So let me push my luck a little bit and see if I can get that by smudging. I think it kind of connects to the color up here from the pattern paper. Okay. Now I got some more colors down around and some sort of toned light up here. So now it's easier for me to detect the highlight. So I would go in first with just the yellow, and I can always push that back with the white. I'm just thinking where light would hit the figures when they're sitting in that position. I don't think that I would put anything on this body because it's like behind her. So maybe she is shadowing up him a little bit. Okay, and now the whole drill of it, the perspective lines with the diagonal and then the center line here, which means that this area right here is where you can place a very bright highlight. Ta-da! Yeah, this is fun. This is fun for me, you know, because now it's the line work on the paper that determines where I can place the white and not just my intuition. And no, I don't think that I would be this anal when I'm just working in my regular day-to-day routine. I am just doing this as a drill. There would be a highlight there. There would actually be one right here. I also think that there actually would be one on the hand and on the wrist here. Okay, that was fun. Can you see how you can use the line work to place your most pronounced highlights? The reason why I like this is because I'm too generous with that highlight. I mean, ugh, it's just so yummy to put it in, but it kind of gets too much when it takes over. And you know, you can't stop putting them in because you like it, you know. So I kind of have a tendency to overdo them. I'm just putting in something that will define the, you know, that the figure a little bit more. I'm a little bit quiet. Okay, I think I like this spread. I like that even though the jelly prints were in two different colors, this one is kind of orange and this one is greenish. I like how I still could use them in one spread and merge them together. So yeah, I think I would be motivated to try and use my eco jelly prints in page spreads, because yeah, it is a puzzle, but when you get it covered in and you use some gesso to the transitions and you use colors on top of it, you can sort of marry them together into one layout. So that was a good one. Okay, now I'm gonna wait for the daylight to break, and then I will do a flip through of the journal so you can see these colors in more vibrant way than right now when it's like evening and it's kind of dark in here in my room. So ta-ta, I can't hardly wait myself to get up tomorrow morning and then do the rest of this upload. Before I sign off and go to bed, I put a little bit of aqua here to enhance that highlight around his head, and then I realized, oh, I got some flower buds here. Might as well just coat them in. And the color that I use is the one from the wings and the color that's over here. So I am having like a small attempt to bring that color over here. Let's say that this was like what can you say, a real drawing. I hate to say the word real drawing because this is the drawing, right? I definitely would have them to carry something in their hands, and I would place small bugs on the branches. Like down here is a perfect spot for a what are they called? You know, those I can sketch one and then maybe you can remember the name of it. A ladybug. It's called a ladybug. But that is super fun, you know, that you can add small critters to the branches of your eco prints. Now I'm searching for a brown, not a brown, a black acrylic marker. And I need one that I'm not so happy about because I got oil and I got gelato on the page, so I might kill a marker. So maybe I should take one of my really inexpensive markers that I wouldn't be so sad if it died. I'm gonna blast this with a heat gun. Okay, I'm just really subtle because I don't want to mess up a marker for this. I think this guy down here, this little woodling, he could carry something that was orange, like it was orange flowers or orange berries, I don't know. So I'm just trying to have him carry something, and she could also carry a similar bouquet of something orange, so that when you look at his hands you would be like, what the hell is he holding? Then you would just think, oh, he's holding the same as the Mrs. Woodling is holding. Ah, this is fun. This is fun. I really like this page spread. More flower buds up here we can color in. That might be a little too much. Then I have a baby wipe to push it back a bit. That's a good thing about working on a gessoed surface. You can, you have a little bit of opening time for regrets. Okay, what if you, can you see how you can just keep on building on these pages? I can actually also give a little bit of color to the stems. I think it would be nice with some sort of like a light. This one has names. This is a light ochre. I'm choosing really light colors because I want this up here to be just blurry and pushed back like further into the forest, so it doesn't take too much attention. Yeah, okay, now I'm just totally having fun with this, coloring in the stems. I'm adding a little bit more detail around the ladybug because if the eyes hit the ladybug, you will notice this area here. So I think I'm gonna give the branch that the ladybug is standing on a little bit highlight with a light yellow, so that you will discover, you know, that swing of yellow. Okay, now I need to go to bed. Now it's bedtime. Maybe I should carry on this branch on top of the pattern paper to merge it together. Totally bedtime. See you in a second. So, good morning. It is now Saturday morning, 7:30, and I got different daylight now on my journal. So I'm just gonna do a quick flip through of the pages that I've shown so you can see them in a more true color. Yeah, than on my upload. So this is the upside down page. Like it a lot. Now I have to flip it. Oh yeah. And then I showed this journal spread right here. And I forgot to tell you guys that I did some crackled accents on the heart. So that's why it's got this funky texture showing on the screen. This is the presentation page of the Woodling family. I really like it a lot. So, and this is the page spread that I talk so much about with the circular composition. And this is where I went sketching with the one line, the graphite, and then a very poorly demonstration of the swirl technique. And this is the page spread where I'm trying to summarize up what I think that I can take with me from my little private study of composition, which is to put more effort in visualizing, and that's why I wrote it down here, to visualize how it would look before I marry it to the paper. So it still give me a chance to change things up a bit instead of just grabbing the first intuition. I try to make like thought bubbles here with enamel dots of the 4 different layouts of one simple drawing. So kind of like that. This is where I'm talking about this spread is going to remind me about eco papers. This is eco jelly prints, and I think that now in daylight you can see more of the pages. But they're like really dark. And this is the journal spread that I was working with, and I think it presents itself a little bit better here in daylight. So I don't know if you can see the texture from the eco paper merging in with scrapbook pattern paper, and I actually work with 2 different sheets of my homemade eco paper. So I got like something with orange here in 2 blocks, and then a triangle shape of the green and a reverse triangle shape down here. So yeah, but I really like the way that you can make a transition from the, you can see like this is the pattern paper, and then it merges into the eco paper, and then back to the pattern paper. I really like that. So yeah, this was a fun spread to do, and I think I'm gonna be more brave trying to use those homemade papers in my journal spreads. Yeah. Thanks for watching, and I wish you a nice week. Hopefully I will come during the week with an upload if I work more in this journal. So see you. Bye bye.